Hi everyone, it's Donna from Donna's Corn-Free Cooking again, and this is the video I promised you on how to make your own baking powder and how to make faux cornbread. So let's get started with the baking powder. I will tell you that this is a product that when I make it, I use it within a month and then make new. You could try refrigerating it and see if that'll help it to have a longer life, but I've never tried that. So here we go. What I do is I have a plastic container and I use potato starch, and I get it usually at my Sprout store or Whole Foods, wherever they have Bob Mill products. What I use is a 2-to-1 formula for my baking powder. I use 1/2 cup of the potato starch. You want more potato starch than you do baking powder. Or baking soda, I'm sorry. Forgive me. Next, I'm going to add my 1/4 cup of baking soda. And I just put that in there. And instead of using a spoon or a fork or anything, I just put the lid on, pop the air, and then I just shake it. And I roll it and I shake it until it's mixed really well. And then you've got baking powder. Isn't that fun? Now we're going to go on to our next product, which is the faux cornbread, and that's my favorite part. As a child growing up, we always had cornbread when my mother would make a pot of beans or chili or even a soup. It is so good, and I always loved it when everyone had their fill, and I would go in and take the cornbread and put it in a cup and pour milk in it. That's so yummy. So now with this faux cornbread, I'm able to do the same thing. First off, we're going to use 1 cup of flour, and even though some bleached flour, not all of it, could have a corn derivative, you could use unbleached and it would work just as well. Not a problem. So I put that flour into the bowl, and now I'm going to add 1 cup of the cream of wheat. If you look at the cup with the cream of wheat in it, it looks like cornmeal. And that's what's so fun about this. I had to sit and think, how in the world could I make my favorite treat without using the one thing that could kill me? So now we add this to our bowl. Next, we're going to do a 1/4 cup of sugar. My father always made our cornbread, and he would use a 1/4 cup of sugar, and it just gave it a little sweetness. And I mix that in a little bit. Now I'm going to add 4 teaspoons of my baking powder. 1, 2, 3, 4. And to that I add 1 teaspoon of salt. And you can hear my oven dinging, telling me that it's up to temp. You want to bake this at 425 degrees for 20 minutes. So I add my salt, and I mix it all up really, really well so that it's all incorporated. Now in this cup, I have 1 cup of milk and a 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. Now because some vegetable oils have corn in them, I use nothing but canola oil, and it works perfectly for what I need. Now to this mix, I'm going to add 1 egg, and I'm going to kind of whip that in just a little bit to break up the yolk so that it's fairly mixed, because you don't want egg streaks running through your bread. Okay. Got that done. Now I'm going to add this to the dry mix, and you want to mix it till it is just mixed. You don't want to overbeat it. I just make sure everything gets wet and incorporated. And as you can see, it looks like cornbread mix, doesn't it? Just a little bit, a couple more stirs. Now I have a 8 by 8 by 2 inch pan, and I have it greased with vegetable oil, which is what I usually use. And one of the tips I do is I'll pour my vegetable oil into the pan, roll it around to get the pan good and greased, and then I drain it into a measuring cup to get my 1/4 cup that goes into the bread. So nothing is wasted. Now we're going to put this mix in there. Into the bowl. I try to scrape it all in. And this is going to be really yummy when it's done. It's so good with butter when it's just out of the oven. It's really good food for you to have. Okay, just kind of mix that just a tiny bit because there was a couple little dry spots. Now, as you can see, we have the bread in the pan. I'm going to put this in the oven for 20 minutes at 425, and then we'll see how it comes out. Now everyone, take a look at this. Does it look like cornbread? It certainly does. So now what we're going to do is we're going to cut this while it's piping hot, add butter to it, and let you see how much it looks like real cornbread instead of cream of wheat. I like to cut it into little squares, and then when I get it out of the pan, I'll go right across here. Ooh, that's hot. Look how beautiful. Look at this. It looks exactly like you're eating cornbread. Now we're going to slice this little piece just like that. And I'm going to add butter to that. And I like to put butter on both sides and just pick up each piece. What do you think of that? Okay, so now you've learned how to make a faux cornbread out of cream of wheat, and it does taste yummy. When I come back next time, I am going to share with you how to make one of my absolute favorites, which is a pecan pie made with a sweet pastry dough from scratch with no corn in it, and the pecan filling, which is made with pure maple syrup, no corn syrup whatsoever. So I hope you'll join me next time, and I'll continue to share more tips about how to check for all the corn and corn derivatives in your food. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell if you want to leave a notification, and we will see you next time. Bye.